with our scientific knowledge what happened during those stages. And what showed up was that that the pattern had certain kinds of things happen on certain kinds of days or nights, over and over and over again. The pattern became unmistakably clear that we are on a schedule. And the schedule is leading, or all this development is leading to conscious co-creation of our very experience, of absolutely everything that we experience. Now, we were talking before the break, we were talking a lot about, in fact, the whole talk about integrity, and I thought it would be important to explain, Lucy, what integrity is. Integrity, simplest put, is following your heart. What do you really wish to do? And what are you not that interested in doing? That's, if you're doing that, you're following, you're being integral to yourself. To thine own self be true is your personal integrity. Now, sometimes you want to do things for other people. You want to do things for other people because you see how it's going to eventually help you. Even if it disadvantages you right now, you know it's going to be better. So doing that would be following or participating in your integrity. It's going to be different. What one person's integrity is totally different to another person. If you're not matching up to your own expectations on your integrity, that's where you're really in trouble. Nobody can tell you what is your integrity and what isn't. Only you can do that. So there's but having that in your consciousness, understanding the importance of it, makes it a lot easier for you to follow, because you can feel when you're not following it now. The next thing I wanted to talk about is probably this cube of Kant right here. This is like my own demonstration or example of the current state of consciousness on planet Earth. Sort of like an ice cube. A cube, a mental block of what can't happen. There are certain things that just can't happen in this world. Things like seeing other dimensions. That can't happen. It's unreal. Doesn't exist. To this block. Some 90% of the world's population believes that there's a lot that can't happen. These people are in here, like molecules of water, all frozen. Like this. They go like that. And they feel pretty good, because they feel safe anyway, because they know that this guy can't move neither. And that's the way they want it. They want no motion, no change. In fact, if there's any change, let's go back to the 50s or 60s, right? No motion, no change. In other words, no evolution. Then there's people like us. And here we are, way out here on the edge. You freaks. You fringies. We're way out here, see, and we can detect that there's more possible. That things are possible. In here, telepathy isn't possible. Telekinesis isn't possible. Being in two places at once is not possible. Bilocating, that's not possible. None of that's possible in here. Meanwhile, in creation, more and more and more is becoming possible. We've now teleported light. You know that? We've actually teleported electrons.
What?
Electrons. In fact, last year in Denmark, they were teleporting whole atoms with the push of a button. Boom, boom. So teleportation is all of a sudden happening. Telepathy, well, we've all experienced it happening. And more of it. It's just getting to be more and more a way of our consciousness operating in our intuition. So there's like this action that's happening here. This frozen block is going to get transformed. And the way that you transform a frozen block, stuckness, is with heat. You put some heat on this, and what's going to happen is the consciousness is going to start changing. Like this. You get a little drippy. Eventually, you end up with a whole other state of being called water. And I don't know about you, but my reality recently has been in flux. Sort of like water. It hasn't been so firm and fixed as it used to be. As a matter of fact, I've been doing these talks for 3.5 years now. And something I've noticed just recently, as a matter of fact, noticed since June 8th of 2004, is that for years I was talking to groups that were 80% women. 80%. I didn't mind. But since June 8th, the percentage of men has skyrocketed to 50% or more. Check it out. What happened on June 8th? The Venus transit. For a little while there, it opened a portal. It shifted consciousness, and I've been able to see it manifest. There's been at least an extra 30% men showed up in all my talks since then. Consciousness is definitely shifting. But we want to get this melted. We want to get it changed. We've got to come up with some heat. Well, heat comes from force. We've got to find a force. Let's see. Where have we got a force? How about 16.4 billion years of constantly accelerating change? There's a force. Okay, so we got a force. Heat comes from force against resistance. Check it out. Heat. Force against resistance builds heat. In other words, guys, we should be extremely happy for all the people putting up resistance to this evolution. Because they are providing the heat to change or shift our consciousness. We have every reason to celebrate Bush and Cheney and everything they're doing. They are creating this heat that is melting this and creating, this is, I'm going to pick on the guys again, but look it. Guys, haven't you been having emotions that you just aren't supposed to have in the past? I mean, if you're going to be a guy, you're not going to have these this last cycle. So there's still more force to come, isn't there? More of that force is going to play out, and there is going to be more resistance. This resistance isn't going to come from the outside world. Right now, what we're doing here in this whole beginning of this, is the acceleration is happening